Yo, welcome back to New Entry Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Ian. And what up, Ever?
What's up, Ian? How you doing, man?
Shit, I'm all right, man. Let's get started, man. There is so much to freaking talk about, dude. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
from AEW to WWE. It's just like, but let's start with the hot topic right now, and that is Tony Khan. Tony Khan, he got power driver by the Young Bucks. And the past weekend he was in the NFL draft, right?
Yeah.
And he was wearing the neck brace. Uh, Majority of us were happy because he's selling it.
Yeah.
But then Tony Khan decided to move his neck around. And it's like, okay, that's fine. He's not an actor, he's not a wrestler, but you would think, hey, dude, sell the crap out of this. you know.
Yeah.
But he's there having a good time. He loves the attention that he's getting. Nothing wrong with that. Then he finally got the spotlight. And instead, instead, I'm not gonna quote what he said, but instead of saying, yeah, my EVPs attacked me, I rehired Jack Perry after his incident in London. And we had a chat and we said, you know what? Let's go in front of the audience and let's make this official and I'm going to reinstate you. We had our talk backstage in my office, and after that he stabbed me in the back. He punched me in the gut, and my EVPs, the guys who I started this company with, the guys who I wanted to sign for my company, they attacked me, they power drive me and dropped me right in my head. Now my neck is numb, whatever, can't move. But no, instead, he decided to take his 15 minutes of fame and trash about WWE. I'm,
The funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I laughed
I'm,
so hard.
I did too. Bro, I'm wearing Adam
Rather you
Cole better than you shirt. You can't see it, but I have the all out poster.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. TNA stuff. I'm a AEW fan. I'm not a huge fan. I'm an AEW fan because it's wrestling. We talked about this. WWE, that's where you get the story. AEW is where you get the wrestling. That's my version of New Japan. You know how you watch New
Yeah.
Japan? You don't watch New Japan because of the story. You watch it because of the wrestling.
Yeah.
That's my version of AEW. But once in a while, it'd be nice to have a storyline, especially leading up to a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You have it's right there. The genie is right there. You rubbed the lamp already. The genie's right there. You have your three wishes, and you chose to talk crap about WWE. God damn, bro. God damn.
It's like
And
that thing where you want people to you give people a chance to talk, and you're like, oh my God, they made it worse. Like, why? You had the opportunity to talk about your your NFL team. Talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Talk about wrestling instead. Like, dude, come on.
of all things he could have talked about, it was just like he chose the wrong one. And this is why we take him as a joke. This is like everything MJF said about you. It's like, bro, you're proving him right.
Yeah.
When are you gonna grow up? Why his dad is right there. Why, obviously his dad doesn't know much about the business, but it's like you can't say, hey man, like act like you're hurt. Okay, cool. You don't know how to act, but it's like, bro, you can't take acting classes. You
See that
can't you
punch though? That punch was
that
hilarious.
dude, Jack Perry should have told him, like, nah, dude, I gotta hurt you. I gotta give you this clothesline. You gotta do
Take a real
something.
hit because
And
you
after,
can't
yeah,
sell it.
because you're
'Cause
you're
he
not
like
gonna know
punched
how
him.
to sell.
He's like this, and he fell. And he's like, "Huh."
Yeah, he did not know how to sell, which is fine. So when the incident happened, right? It was fine. It was like we all know it's Tony Khan. He's not the first. You know what I mean? And then, but when they picked him up, the Young Bucks picked him up. He was fine. He was no selling. He wasn't selling the gut. It was just like you should have clotheslined him because
Yeah,
there was no way he was not. He's going to sell it, not because of his acting. It was like no, it's gonna hurt him.
yeah,
They should have done something for him to him that was going to like, nah, this is
Protect them.
actually protect him, but also hurt him because it's like it's gonna hurt you because you're not
Yeah.
used to this. As
Yeah.
simple as a clothesline, you know.
Yeah.
But they chose not to. And again, you would think this is where I get mad about the Young Bucks. It's like, bro, you guys are the pros. You're the pros. You guys should have told him. I think this is the way we should do it. But no. And it's like once again, what do you guys do as EVPs if you can't tell Tony Khan saying, "Hey, look, we got to do it this way because to ensure you sell it.
Yeah.
We're done about WWE. Let's drop it. This is the storyline. This is the direction we need to head towards. Stop with the WWE." But no, Tony Khan, I don't want to say he went for his went for his business for himself because that is his business.
Yeah.
But it's just like at what point are the young bucks gonna tell Tony Khan, bro, stop? Unless they're in on it. Like, no, yeah, keep doing that. That's probably what they're doing too. So what's your take on that? And like when you found out about this, I want to know your take on Tony Khan's crap talking and the NFL and also the before math. Like, were you excited about this? Where it's like, oh, this is interesting.
No, I think I'll start off with the incident first and then the NFL. So
Yeah.
for me, it felt like it was jumping the shark. It's a term where like a TV show or program is on has no ideas left, so they just they do something different, but it
Mm,
doesn't always work out for them. You know how like that's what you've seen the show like the Happy Days where they jump the shark literally.
yeah.
That's the term where TV shows or programs, like any TV show or program, does something where like we have nothing else. Let's do this and see if it works. And
Mm.
they're doing the McMahon and Steve Austin thing, but like really poorly. You know,
No,
like the
this is, would you say that? I would say this is more like Eric Bischoff, NWO.
I would say, yeah, I would say like Eric Bischoff, NWO, or Dixie Carter and TNA. That's more you see that
Oh,
more like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like now she's involved in a storyline. Now she's getting,
But
you
at
know,
least Dixie
Nick
know
out.
how to talk on the mic
Yeah, like Tony should not. He doesn't. He does like this weird thing where he talks and he starts screeching. You
because
know
he's
when
a
he introduced.
fan.
Yeah, remember when he introduced Giannis to when Giannis, I don't know his last name from the Bucks, he started Giannis, he started
Oh,
screeching.
yeah. I
I was
remember
like,
that.
dude, you gotta take
I
some. You have this time. If you're gonna do that stuff, like at least take a class on it. Like you said, take an acting class, take a vocational class where you like are able to talk without screeching like a child, like a madman. You know, like
yeah.
if you're gonna do anything involving wrestling, like you say with Dixie Carter, at least know how to talk. You know, you're like, because then you look at him like, you don't take him seriously
You
as a, like he's not gonna he's not gonna hit you in the,
no.
he's not gonna like at least Bischoff could like he did karate or something, you know, he could actually hit you in the face.
His
Dixie could
but
slap you across the
yeah,
face.
Eric Bishop was more self-defense kind of thing. And
Yeah, but he could knock.
that's why he was more afraid of guys like guys were bigger than him because it's like I
Yeah,
can't lift you.
but like Tony Khan's the size of like Jack Perry probably or a little. They're like the same height or
Yeah,
the
they're
same
the same
size,
height.
and you're like, you expect me to believe this guy's gonna be like the monster heel owner or something, or the face heel owner? But then, th- so for me, it felt kind of like it's kind of that time where like, because he even said he quoted this is a quote he himself. He said he'll never get involved in a storyline because it's not the way pro wrestling should be. It's like 2020 or 2021. I forgot what why he did that. But he says he'll never get himself involved in a storyline where he does like this kind of thing, like
Mhm.
he just did. So it's kind of hypocritical too. That's what I mean, where he's jumping the shark, where he's like,
Well, here's
now
the
it's going to
thing.
a desperate measure thing. Like now he's
Yeah.
actually doing it. Like
Mhm.
you totally say you're never gonna do that, and now you're here doing it. You know?
Well, in professional wrestling, never say never.
Yeah,
But when we found out about the NFL draft that he was going to be there, that's why we're like, oh, okay. Tony's being smart. He's wearing the neck brace. He's gonna talk crap about AEW, right? Like not AEW, but like what just happened. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna punish the elites what they just did to me. Matter of fact, at Double or Nothing, or this week or next week on Dynamite, I'm gonna put all 4 men in a tag team match against the mysterious opponents. We'll find out on Dynamite. Tune in on Dynamite to find out who the elites are gonna face. You know,
Yeah.
nope. He took his, took shots at WWE.
It's like,
WWE, not Vince McMahon, not Triple H, the whole company where it just made everybody go like, why?
and it felt kind of awkward too for that because it feel WWE actually WWE works at the NFL. Remember when they made the title belts? So like like WWE sells the title belts on WWE Shop. Like if you go on there
That's why
now,
they took the direction
they're
away
like
from it.
they're like. But then that's the thing though. He has actually he should focus. He shouldn't even talk about wrestling when he's at the NFL draft. He should talk about his NFL team. I
Yeah.
mean, they've been good. What, one season? Probably the last couple seasons. Like the last two. I forgot what season. I see. I don't follow the Jaguars, but they haven't been good. Like they've been good like 1 or 2 seasons. The last couple seasons. You should focus on your NFL team. Like he has a soccer team too. Like do you talk about AEW when you're talking about your soccer team? No, no, no. Focus on your draft on your
Yeah.
NFL team.
But
Make sure that your NFL team is
nothing
not.
wrong promoting
Yeah,
AEW.
yeah.
But again, he's not using that fame to promote AEW.
No.
He's talking crap about WWE. But like you said, he should just focus on his football team.
Yeah, like get him at least into the playoffs. Like get him a
Yeah.
good quarterback or whatever. Well, they have a quarterback, but Trevor Lawrence. But they should, like talk about, oh, we're trying to build our wide receivers or our running backs or our defense. Trying to make the playoffs, make the Jacksonville Jaguars actually a decent team. But no, like you said, he went this whole curve where I saw the announcer's face when he like did that. You could tell they're like,
Everybody did.
bro, you.
Yeah.
And then all the you see that clip where everybody's like they do like this. It's
Yeah.
like a meme like
Yeah, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I
and
saw
if you're a
that. That was
Jack,
actually I didn't see like I saw the mean version of it
yeah,
where it was like after Tony Khan said that, then I saw that's what I saw where everybody just smacking their face.
and,
Um,
yeah, and then the comparison thing was just so awkward and weird.
it
You compare
was
Pepsi to Harvey Weinstein. That's like not even compared to each other.
that
One's a
didn't make
beverage
sense.
company, and
I
one
under
is a
yeah
guy. One guy's a executive that allegedly we gotta say allegedly because we don't
yeah.
want to get allegedly did some crimes against people and stuff like
Mhm.
malicious accident. So he's like doing this
He's
thing where it's like he's like, what are you talking about a beverage company and a
right.
guy that allegedly committed some crimes? You know,
That and then here's the thing. I understand why he took it that way. Why or
yeah,
not took it that way, but why he said that. But it was like, first of all, you said the WWE, not Vince.
yeah,
That so
no,
that didn't work. And then what you just said, you compared yourself to Pepsi to a person, where it's like we're the Pepsi and they're like I don't even know what you could have you could have said any other drink, but you
Coca
said a
Cola.
person.
We're Coca Cola. No, they're
Coca-Cola.
the
But that's too much for them. That's just like, but that could have been that's what he could have said though. Like, oh, we're Pepsi, they're Coca-Cola, and we're
Coca
just in
Cola is
this.
actually better though. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
compares like actually compare
But
something that's related to each other.
yeah, that meaning like that's where we're at. We're in the same level.
Yeah.
We're Pepsi, they're WWE. We're in the same level. Just people have different tastes. Some people like Pepsi, some people like Coca-Cola. But all I'm trying to say is that we're in the same level,
Hmm.
But they said they're Pepsi, and where's they compared it to a person where it's like I don't where do you rank it? I don't
Like
you can't rank it. It's just
no,
it does not work.
it's like we're
So
the
that was a
yeah.
fail on him. But
Like we're
to Tony
Monster
Khan,
and you're
yeah, yeah, we're the Monster Energy drink. They're 5 hours energy drinks. What does that mean? Well, you could find Monster everywhere. You could find it in all the freezers and groceries, the gyms, gas stations. You could find our energy drink everywhere. Is what I'm trying to say. But 5 hour energy drinks, you only see them in the front, in the counters. You know, it's just that
yeah.
something, but it was just like God. So this is what Tony Khan needs. He needs an agent with like an assistant to do either all the talking or write scripts for him.
Mhm.
This is what you're saying, and two, an acting coach. Because God, it's just like, dude, just stop.
Yeah, because
And
we're not saying that we ourselves are like professional like coaches or we're not
I'm
saying it, but like
Dude,
you
you
can see
know
like
me. You
yeah,
know me. I'm the guy who can't even talk in front of like 50 people. But yeah, I have a podcast. Dude, you hear me stutter my words. I fumble my words. I need you to back me up of what I'm trying to say or
yeah,
try to find the direction of the word I'm trying to say. I know I'm not one to talk, but I know well what to say and what
yeah.
not to say in certain time and place.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like if you're gonna do anything with like each of your different businesses, like the NFL, like get your NFL rep to talk for you, you know?
Right.
But it helps the NFL network. They got good ratings out of it. They got a good like
It helped them instead of Tony
NFL's like,
Khan.
thanks. Thanks. I think I read something where they were happy about his appearance or like, hey, they got us a lot of views. He got us a lot of views. Like people probably looked up, they followed the NFL network clip and stuff. They probably like got 1 million views on that clip alone. Because it was
Uh,
like, what not to say.
I was gonna say, who's that guy who had Kevin Hart on his podcast and they drew him like 40 million views? Charmaine, something like that?
Oh, Charlemagne the God?
No, no, no. It's
Yeah,
like no, not
Charlemagne the God. No,
no,
not him.
I know it's not him. It's a different guy. Tall guy.
Shannon
He
Sharp?
possibly. Oh no.
Why? What do you mean? You mean
Well,
Cat Williams or
no,
Kevin
no,
Hart?
yeah. Some guy had Cat William on his show.
Oh, that's Shannon Sharp, former NFL
Okay.
player. Yeah.
Yeah, him. He needs to have Tony Khan on his show.
Oh my God, that'll be hilarious.
He
I
probably's
will
gonna
to
reach out to him because
I
of
will
that.
totally watch that because I watched the Cat Williams I've never watched like YouTube videos or whatever for hours,
Yeah,
but I watched the entire thing.
yeah,
Dude, that'll be hilarious.
Cat William. It took me 3 days to watch it. I watched it. I started off watching it on my TV, and then I listened to it like on my phone, like on
Yeah.
my doing my deliveries and all that. So yeah, no, like that guy, he needs to have Tony Khan on the show. Vince McMahon too.
Would
Like
that be good for Tony Khan or good for Shannon Sharp?
for him, because Tony Khan doesn't know how to he doesn't know how to promote his own freaking company.
Yeah. I can't imagine like because I mean we both work at companies. We're not mentioning names, but like, what if the owner of your company was like talking like random stuff like that on television? What would you? I can't imagine being an employee. You're like, holy crap.
Honestly, there's been
I know that's why
times.
I know WWE felt that way about when this like man got like all that stuff. I bet you other WWE people are like, oh my god,
But
this is
Vince
horrible.
wasn't out there talking about it though.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
said like
he had
it when
like
he
he did
did.
stuff like I'm the genetic jackhammer, but we were
Yeah,
like but now he's like whoa, we found out he did.
yeah.
Did
Well, allegedly,
allegedly.
it's still
Yeah,
allegedly at this point,
yeah.
because
Well,
he's
in
still
this
fighting.
country, they're guilty until innocent, anyways. So
Yeah, and finding out it's all about money. So it's like once it's all about money, it's like, oh, okay, we kind of figure the whole why we got here basically, or why they got there.
but the Tony Khan thing with the neck was hilarious. So first he had a full neck brace, like the full, like okay, he's like stuck there, and then he went
Like
to
he
like that
kept moving.
comical, yeah. Then he had that comical like the Sopranos thing. I saw the meme about that. The guy from the Sopranos had like just like it looked like a band-aid on his neck. That's what literally what Tony, and he was like this. Yeah, yeah. My neck is more messed up than Tony's. Like I can't barely move this way. I have to. That's why I'm
Right.
doing therapy. But like. I'm actually would be able to wear that and just be like, I'm not moving this way or that way. Like I'm actually stuck here, you know? So it's
I
just, oh my
I
God.
wear a neck brace once, and
Yeah. You can't
that's
move.
very I you can't even move. Like
No, because you're like,
you have to literally, even if your neck is sore, it's like you can't do what Tony Khan was doing.
no.
That's
And
why I was just like, what kind of neck brace are you wearing? Because I like, even when I was at that third day mark where I was recovering, like I was able to move a little bit. It was just like more of a, oh, okay, I see you, but I still have to move my full body. Tony
wow.
Khan was just like, hey guys,
Hey
hey, what's it
guys, like
going?
full like whiplash, like
Yeah,
oh hey.
whiplash,
The
nothing.
funniest thing though about that is the NFL Network guys, they like, oh God. And then they asked them like, oh, so how's your condition and stuff? And he, they kind of like they kind of make fun of.
I don't think I seen that part. Tell
No,
me about
no,
it.
because it's technically like one of the guy on the left. He's like, "Oh, so what happened? What condition do you have? Like, what happened to your neck?" And Tony's like, "Oh, you have to find out on Dynamite. Check out Dynamite. Check out us at 7 o'clock Central for the answer." You're like, "Oh, okay, okay." You should
For
just watch
an
the whole.
update, he could have.
Yeah, not there, not there. Like, oh, what? Also, what happened? Did you break your neck? Do you have a C1 or C2, whatever? Like something a neck
Oh
bone.
my
Did
gosh.
you aggravate it? Like, you know what? You should check out Dynamite or whatever, whatever the
Oh,
show
he
was.
was supposed to show up. I don't know. I think I missed that part. So I watched AEW Collision and he was supposed to show up to tell us. And apparently that he wasn't on air when it happened. It happened during like commercial break or before the
Oh my
show.
God.
I don't know how true that is. I mean, I had to say it is true just because like I watched it and again I'm like, where is it? But like I watched the replay. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't watching it live. I just like, like, oh, let me start all over. And I was just like, oh, what happened? And I don't know I don't know why I didn't air it. Maybe I missed it. I don't know what's going
No,
on.
I think it's for Dynamite. So it's like you should
No,
wait for
no,
Dynamite
they
and check it out.
promote
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It
Okay.
promoted on Collision
Oh,
saying,
okay.
"Oh,
Tony
Tony
Khan
Khan's
talks
it's gonna
announcement and
announce
like
his injuries."
prognosis or yeah.
Yeah,
So the NFL Network guy was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, thanks for coming on us." Because then he wanted to keep tickling. No, we'll
he
see you.
should have
Thank you for
told him
coming.
what happened. He should have told him what happened. Who? Okay, cool. That's oh damn. But who did that to you? Oh, my
Then
EVPs
promote the show. Then like, oh,
promote the
come
show.
watch the show. But no, he's like,
Yeah,
no, just wait, just watch it, just
I
wait.
don't. They
They're
don't
like,
watch the show.
no,
That's why they
they,
don't know what happened.
they barely know he owned AEW. Probably they only know because of like they told him like, oh, he runs this All Elite Wrestling. He owns the Jaguars or his dad
Yeah,
owns the
that.
Jaguars.
Oh, what's his dad's name?
Sha Shaid, I can't say
Jai.
his name.
They probably know him like
Like
that's all. Probably they know about him. Like, oh,
yeah,
you're Jai's
the son.
miss yeah son. That's all they probably know.
Because his dad was on Dynamite too. I was like, oh no, that's when you know they're desperate. Because then now the dad's showing on. He's gonna be the corporate billionaire.
The dad should have done all the talking.
Exactly.
The dad should have been like, "Oh, my son can't talk. His neck is sore. So if you have any
Don't even show
questions,
him on
ask
camera.
me."
Like, hey, go over there. When the camera comes hits you and comes gets to you, don't even. You're gonna leave the room or something. Go like this. Leave the room. Like make sure your
He
neck
should
is
have
like
had a
stationary.
he could have had a caretaker.
Exactly. Like here, let's take like somebody carry you to.
I tell you, it could and he had to be a
Any
real one. It could
like
have been
it
an
doesn't.
actor.
They got money, man. They could have just been like, you know what, just get this is really good actor and just help them get you,
Yeah.
like here, just don't move,
Mr.
like
Mr.
here.
Tony Khan cannot take answer because of what the Young Bucks did to him. His
Yeah.
neck is sore, everything is sore, his jaw is sore, he cannot speak. If you
Yep.
have any questions, you can ask me and you can ask him, but I'll be doing the talking, or his father will be doing all the talking.
And then just be okay, cool. And then he's I think by collision or by next dynamite he'll be able to or he's gonna talk on dynamite or collision
Yeah, he
about
has
he's
a
gonna be better
doctor's
by then.
note.
He's gonna be able to talk. He's gonna be able to talk now by Friday, Saturday. By Saturday he'll be fine or whatever by whatever the next show was. You know, wasn't a wait that would have been the same day though. Collision and dynamite. Like
What do
so, oh,
you
yeah,
mean?
like collision's on Saturday. The draft was on Saturday or Friday, Saturday. I don't remember which day.
Collision is on Fridays.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. What's the
Yeah,
one on Saturday then?
it's a collision. You
So wait,
repeated
no,
yourself.
Rampage. Rampage is on
Rampage
Friday.
is on Saturdays now.
See, I don't even follow.
Yeah.
See, that's why I flipped it. Like, wait, what? I thought Collision was Saturday and Rampage was Friday.
It was. Now it's on
What's
Saturday
the difference? It's
after.
the same show. Like, why
Yeah,
you even flip the name?
they should have just done
Got rid of a show. Just get
they
rid of
should
one
have just
already.
done it collision 3 hours or something. I have no
Yeah, it's like
idea.
why make it like why flip the just change the name of the show and it's
Yeah.
the same show. Anyways, but yeah, I just found it to be hilarious. Especially now I'm like, oh, they're getting desperate. Like, is that gonna obviously hopefully they get more people to watch, but like at the same time, like people are gonna watch it for the train wreck it is. Like
Yeah.
the storyline, not the wrestling. Everything the wrestling's good. I mean, I see some highlights. Sometimes I wish they kind of take. I mean, I know it's like let's just go all out wrestling, but like man, you guys gotta protect your workers, you know?
Yeah.
Because then in 10 years, those same wrestlers playing WWE, even though they never touched WWE, I'm like, you never wrestled here. It's because you were doing like. That's the thing I like. I know, obviously, we know it's scripted, right? We know that, right? Obviously,
Right.
it's like I watch a movie. I know it's scripted. I know Tony's story. I know Robert Downey Jr. is not Iron Man. I know XYZ is not this character. But at the same time, you're like, well, like you don't want them in 5 years to be like really bad. Like I get the really hard stuff, but sometimes I'm always like, man,
It's like I would rather enjoy your career for the next 10 to 15 years by you playing it safe than you trying to kill yourself in the
or a match
ring.
on Dynamite. It's like
Yeah.
not even hitting a million. Like at least don't like
Even
protect
if it
most.
was hitting a million, save it for the
Yeah,
pay-per-view.
yeah, yeah. They make
You don't
that's the
have
thing
to
too.
hurt yourself that way.
Yeah, and then they just that's all they focus on Dynamite was that like the whole show led up to that. But where was Swerve? He ended up doing Collision. Like what? You didn't put him on the main show?
Yeah.
Swerve didn't get his
He
like
he did wrestle in Dynamite, but it was just like
there was no
they're treating him as a mid-card
exactly.
title.
I
So,
was like, you're not helping your champion any favors.
no.
I get he's a fighting champion, but there's no like, we welcome our first African American AEW champion with like a full 30-minute like segment of
Celebration or something.
yeah. There's like, no, you're just gonna wrestle and then Collision, you're gonna wrestle for the title.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
see what happens. We never know, but
Well, we got a special guest on the show ever. He's going to be joining us about this. Well, he's a returning guest and none other than Jose. Let's go get him on the show. Welcome back, Jose, to New Entry Wrestling Podcast. How are you, man?
Doing good, man. Great to be back.
All right, sounds good. Well, earlier on the show, me and Ever started off the show talking about TK and AEW. So I just wanted to get your intake on that. But before we do, I want to take this moment to let our fans and listeners to hit that like and subscribe. If you're listening to us on Spotify, please hit that follow button and give us a 5-star rating. All right, Jose, welcome back to the show. Unfortunately, Ever had to go due to technical issues getting you on the show. Tony Khan.
Oh my God,
Me and
this guy.
Ever started off the show talking about AEW Tony Khan and his issue, the things that he did in NFL, and what happened on Dynamite and the future of AEW. So let's go get your put and your intake on this. What's your thoughts of what happened?
He really just screwed himself with what started as a funny angle with the whole, Jungle Jack and the Elite attacking him and stuff like that. I mean, it was his acting was horrible, it was corny as hell and everything like that on there.
But
But
the build up, it was good. The
but
direction of it.
it served the purpose because he got people talking. He actually, was, and then especially everybody was laughing just because he was drafted with the neck brace. He was selling it too.
Right.
I mean,
Not he was doing a horrible job on it, but he
yeah,
at
horrible
least
job on it, but
understood. Yeah, he understood the
he
business.
gets it. He's getting it. And then to just go and say what he said, which I even commented on Twitter on a thread there. It was like, okay, if he's calling them AEW Pepsi, the natural comparison is going to be Coca-Cola because that's the enemy. They're rivals. They're that. To go from that to just saying what he said, I was just
Yeah,
like, oh, you just
that's what me and Ever said, where it was like you could compare yourself to Pepsi. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you compared WWE to a person, where it's like you could have
to a
said to Pepsi and Coca-Cola, Pepsi and sparkling water or something,
yeah,
something, but you compared it to a person that we can't even say. I don't even want to mention him, but it
right.
was
Same,
just like
neither do I.
it's just like it doesn't work, dude. The
Because
comparison does not work.
everyone knows who that guy is and what he's done and what he's in prison for. And if you want to compare Vince to him, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That's fair. That's completely fair to say. So it's something that I've heard a lot of times people say is like he's almost becoming AEW's worst enemy because of how he carries himself at times in media and the things that he says. And especially with this whole people are still having it's smaller than what it's before, but people are still
Right.
believing that there's this war between the companies. That it's the Monday Night Wars again. How it was with WCW and WWF in the '90s, which it's not. It's nowhere near that. It's remotely nothing to do with that at this point. It's really just one core set of fans on each side, and then Tony himself, and even some of the guys on his roster too, because they've always fed into that tribalism and then
Mhm.
hide their hand whenever they get called out for it. You know, they'll throw the stone and then hide their hand. Like, oh wait, no, we're not trying to do it. Everybody enjoy wrestling. Like, okay, but then you guys are doing that too. I mean, there's literally almost a count now. How many times per episode of either Dynamite, Rampage, or Collision that they're gonna mention, you know, WWE, or they're gonna take a pot shot at somebody from WWE on social media, and WWE has done that a couple times too. But like, you can look at the difference between how many times WWE has done it to how many times
Yes.
AEW continuously does it.
Yes.
Like, whether it's a promo, it's, you know, something on social media, they're
Like
they're
Triple
hanging on to that
H.
thread.
Like Triple H when he said that, you know what, if you want to go with the other company because they had a lighter schedule, cool. Like you're all you're doing is showing me that you're not here for the grind. Because you know that's what WWE is. And he did not mention Will Ospreay. He did not mention
Mhm.
Okada. He didn't mention
or
other
or
the
Mercedes,
AEW. Nobody. He didn't mention nobody. Will Ospreay went out there and took literally took a shot at Triple H
right,
and mentioned his wife.
right. And even when
It
he
was
did,
so 1999.
yeah, and even when he did that too, I was like commented on a thread. I can't remember which one it was. Saying, okay, yeah, this was funny when it was said by Stone Cold, Taker, Jericho, Rock, Shane, like 20 Angle, Booker, 20 something years ago. It was funny then because at the time he was still in the
But
ring.
how they said it, how they
Yeah, and
said
how
it.
they said, and it was with comedy. I mean, Jericho has a whole highlight reel of just with Stephanie of like just the way he would insult her and with the things he would say. Granted, some of those things you can't really say nowadays because again, we live in a different world.
Right.
But even with what Triple H said, even I found that corny because he was saying like, oh, how his if you don't do the grind, his best friends are Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They left to go work a lighter schedule. They
Yeah.
left WWE and went to WCW to make more money and work less. So you can't really fault Osprey for that too, because Osprey, and I've said this before, I'm a fan of his, big fan of his work and everything like that on there. But the way he wrestles, he's gonna have a short career. You know, he's not gonna have like an AJ Styles career where AJ's hitting almost 50 and he's still being able to have, you know, strong matches and, you know, put in good work in the ring. Granted, he can't do some things he did back in TNA, obviously, because again, the way his body has, you know, been beat up over the years, it's, you know, taking his toll. Osprey's on the same path, but just not to the same degree. I've said he's going to be more like Dynamite Kid than AJ because of the risk that he takes still and the way he's beating up his body now, that it's just going to, you know, impact him in that way. So I get why he goes to AW and, you know, works once, twice a week, maybe, and is able to let his body heal. Totally get that. But he shouldn't be taking pot shots like that either. He shouldn't be taking offense to a pot shot like that because it's like, no, it's true. And people get it. You know, who the fuck doesn't want to, you know, take a job where like, yeah, I'm going to work 2 days out of the week and I'm still going to make you about $500,000, you know, a
Right.
year. Yeah, I'm
But
not gonna.
you're doing the same moves. This is why I have a problem with Will Ospreay, right? Especially when it comes to that Bryan Danielson match. There was nothing new about it.
Right.
So for people to say that I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I did give it a 10 out of 10. But there was nothing new that happened. That it
Right.
was just like it's kind of like Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan. It's a great match when you get it, right? But it's like there's nothing new about it. It's just nothing new. It's same Ric Flair. Ric Flair, what he does where he wrestles Sting and all these people, other wrestlers,
He
Ric
does the same
Flair, he does the same thing. Same with Hulk Hogan. But when you put them together, they make magic.
Right.
That's all it was. It was just like a Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair match where it's like you guys were doing the same thing that you guys do every time you guys are in the ring, or you know, it's just nothing new. When Bryan Danielson joined AEW, it was great at first because we were getting Daniel Bryan for so long that we finally get Bryan Danielson, the Ring of Honor guy, the American Dragon. So it's like more of a reborn for him. Well,
Right.
Osprey, it's doing something that we got to see him do in New Japan. all he's doing is bringing it to AEW, where it's just like it's nothing new.
Right.
So, same thing with
And
Mercedes Monet. It's like, oh, she's doing stuff that she wasn't able to do in a WWE. She's doing that now.
but what is that though? Because everything that I've seen from her, so from her promos, I mean, that first promo was okay because obviously it was in Boston, hometown, and it had a lot of ring to it. But the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it hasn't been anything better.
No.
And now we're finally gonna get her in the ring, at Double or Nothing against Willow, and it's pretty much written on the wall. She's gonna, beat her, and she's gonna take that title. Okay, but then what's gonna be happening with that title? Is there gonna be anything behind it, or is it just gonna be a prop for Mercedes to just, have her brand,
Yeah.
elevate the brand? So again, that title, I think at one point it was probably valued more than the AEW Women's title, because when Julia had it, I was like, she was working it consistently and just having matches consistently, so it benefited her because obviously she started getting better in the ring herself, and her character started getting more developed. So now I was hoping that with Willow, because Willow, I'm a fan of Willow. I enjoy her in the
I don't
ring.
like the name because it reminds me of Jeff Hardy.
Oh,
That's why I don't
no,
like her. I keep thinking about, like, when I hear Willow, I think about black and white Jeff Hardy.
right.
And then it's like when you see her, it's like, oh, no, never mind.
No.
It's not her.
But even name aside, like I said, fan of her character. Even it's almost kind of Bailey-ish when she started. Super smiley baby face,
Yeah.
but she's got power. She can wreck motherfuckers. Stuff like that on there, and now with Mercedes, there's like, okay, so she's obviously going to take that title from her, but then what's going to happen to the title? Then what happens to Willow after that? Does she try to go for the AEW Women's title, which right now you have with Toni Storm, who's having her best run with that title, and her character is probably one of the better characters in AEW just because the way it's developed and the way it's been fleshed out. Even now with now you got the story with Maria May too. So is Maria May going to be the one that's going to take the top from her? She's going to flip on her and be the baby face in the scenario.
It's like AEW, the women's AEW women's world title is more about wrestling. It's like that's their world heavyweight title. And the women's TBS championship is like the Hollywood title, the WWE championship, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
this is more star power and all that. And
Right.
with nothing wrong with that. It's just I guess it's more of us the fans trying to figure that out instead of Tony Khan telling us that part, where
Right.
it's like this is what's going on. You guys like it or not, I don't really care. It's like this is what we're doing. It's fine, but it's like Tony Khan doesn't even know what he's doing. It's just like Tony Khan just made a WWE 2K storyline from himself and just made all these custom belts because you're able to,
Right.
and just throwing titles to everybody where it's like he just has too many titles to the point
Yeah.
where it's just like, dude, you gotta
Um,
eventually he's gonna merge them or you gotta do a brand split.
there should have been a brand split because even now, okay, they just unified the trios and the six-man titles, but it's like, okay, why is anything with Ring of Honor having to do with AEW?
Right.
Ring of Honor, its own. He bought it. It's supposed to be its own brand, its own show. There should not be any crossover. That should be ran, by itself. You have three AEW shows to run. If you wanted to, you could do a three-way brand split with each show getting its roster. But this goes back to
Rampage could
Rampage.
be don't get rid of Rampage because you know how Rampage is after Collision now. That
Yeah,
Rampage, it could still that's Ring of Honor. Just be like, oh, you're gonna see the Ring of Honor stars on Rampage for 1 hour.
I wouldn't even do that. Like I said, let Ring of Honor be its own thing. Right now, I don't even know if it's Honor Club, and once they do the whole new rights to, maybe he can get an hour for Ring of Honor itself.
Mhm.
Let Ring of Honor be itself. Let it build its own self up, back up.
Yeah.
Um,
Have it at
but
the impact zone, like how he had Dark Evolution.
yeah,
That's to do Ring of Honor tapings.
yeah, they can easily do it like that. They
And then on the
what,
pay-per-views have one or two Ring of Honor matches. You know?
yeah, something like that to that degree. But there's so much stuff that they need to reevaluate and fix if they're gonna go into this new once they get this new rights deal to better themselves too. And enough of the everything's a dream match thing too, because it's like how many
But to him, it is though.
like how many dream matches can you possibly have at this point? It's just great. Did the match between Osprey and Danielson need a story to it? No, not really. It was you say you're the best, I say I'm the best. Let's fucking find out. Cool, simple as that. They went and had a great match. Not everything has to have like a convoluted, bloodline storyline that goes for 4 years and is still going now, or needs Cody Rhodes 2 year story, with that.
But the problem with that is that Tony Khan has that, but doesn't use it. Like Kylie
That-
O'Reilly versus Robert Strong. It was just like they attacked him and that was it. They had that one match and they're both going their separate ways. Adam Cole shows up like showing that he's not hurt anymore. It's like they could have built it up for us to get Adam Cole and Kylie O'Reilly in the near future. But
Mhm.
no, it was just like after the match, Kylie O'Reilly leaves and then Adam Cole shows up and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm good." He doesn't even show up on Dynamite. It was just like, what was the whole purpose of that?
Right.
Nobody's even talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that Adam Cole's heel.
Exactly. And same thing with how they handled Swerve winning the title was the right call, but then you have him do what on Wednesday,
He had a
everything else,
match, I guess,
yeah,
the Ring of Honor tag team title.
yeah, one of the Ring of Honor
Yeah.
guys, or the thing that he's a TV champion, I think. But it's like, okay, what did this guy? How did this guy end up lined up to to receive that first crack at the champion? Why not have an in-ring celebration of your new champion, especially with how much hype there was because it's the first Black AEW champion. They could have hyped that up more and started his reign off, with that. Another thing I kind of want to bring up too, speaking of like world titles, is now that you got Moxley as the
IWPG.
IWGP champion, but same thing with him with his. Okay, he wins that title. He's defending it on AEW TV, but against Hobbs. He's not defending it against. What has Hobbs done to get, in the eyes of New Japan, a world title shot? And one of the New Japan talents actually did a whole piece on that.
Yeah.
That I think I shared on Facebook, because it's very true. It's like, okay, this is our title, and it's kind of the same thing that happened with TNA and AEW when Omega won the TNA title and the Impact titles and all that stuff, and then he was doing the whole belt collector thing. It's like, okay, that benefits AEW. What does it do for New Japan?
Mhm.
What is it doing for New Japan? Granted, that title belt is being seen on AEW TV, which in the States, of course, it's a bigger audience, but no New Japan talent's being shown.
Yeah,
So-
there's Okada. What there's so many people that John Moxley could face. And
There's
going
no new,
no, go
you know,
ahead.
there's no New Japan talent being shown to challenge for.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, you can say, okay, this is the IWGP title, this is New Japan's big title, main title. This is their talent. This is how it's going to work. We're going to put our guys against their guys, and that way they can, get the rub. As the saying goes in wrestling, to get the rub from them. But none of that happens. And again, this is going to be, in the long run, it's going to benefit AEW. Okay, and Mox is going to benefit from it too. But then once he drops the title to someone from New Japan, that's it. Okay, thanks for loaning us the, your toy, New Japan. Here you go away.
Yeah, it's
until,
just
until
like
Forbidden Door. Until Forbidden Door. Then Forbidden Door, they'll go back to him like, okay, we need you guys back.
what I want to know is who. I'm sorry, but like if I had a promotion, right, and my promotion where it's like I just what I don't understand was for New Japan. Moxley works for AEW. Why are you giving him the title? And also, why is there no agreement saying, "Hey, yes, we're giving our title to your champ to one of your roster, but we made the decision on he's gonna defend the title."
Exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna have you defend it against Hop. No offense to him, but it was just like, there you go. No number one contender, nothing. It was just like, oh, okay, John Moxley's gonna face Powerhouse Hub on Dynamite next week, and it was just
Yeah.
like, why? What happened? What made you choose him?
Yeah,
You know?
and like, and that's it. Like Hobbs is not, a great wrestler or anything like that, but also Hobbs is cold. There has been nothing
Yeah,
done with him. You know,
he
everything
hasn't
that they
done
try to work,
anything.
every time that they try to work with him, and mind you, him and oh my god, I'm forgetting his name right now. Uh,
Ricky Stark,
no, well, Starks is another one, but
Big
the dude,
Cass.
no, not Cass. With MJF, he was his bodyguard.
Oh, Warlord, something like that.
Yeah, Wardlow. Like those two dudes, they literally had a match that started the whole meat thing, a while back. But those are two guys that they have on the roster that at one point were hot.
Yeah.
They were they had so much gas behind them that they could have really turned them into something special. And they let that go by, and now they're cooled off. So now it's like, okay, when you see Hobbs, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Hobbs versus Moxley for that WGP title. I'm like, why? What has Hobbs done to really then? It's not a shot against Hobbs, because again, Hobbs in the ring has a great look, works great.
Yeah, that his
He
match
could
against John Moxley, it was good.
he could be fucking something huge. He should be something huge. You literally have your Batista and Bobby Lashley there, and you're doing nothing with them.
Yeah.
Your very own Batista and Lashley there, and nothing's being done with them. They've just fallen to the wayside.
Yeah, it's I feel like Powerhouse Hub. I hope one day he realizes it's time for me to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for me to go. I feel like he'll be a perfect fit for TNA, NXT, not so much for WWE right now.
Right now, yeah, not right
Not
now.
right now. Not right now. It's not a good time for him to be in WWE because but eventually I feel like the perfect time for him would be like to team up with Bobby Lashley. But when it's time for Lashley to leave,
Right.
where it's like, let me take Powerhouse Hub, we'll be a tag team. That way I can win the
Mm-hmm.
tag team title. And then I'm gonna manage him. And then either that's where it's like, I don't need you. All right, cool. I'll leave. Or you could write me off and then we'll have a quick feud. And
And then
then
just
I'll
boom,
retire from there.
he retires and everything.
It's stuff like that. And it's sadly we're not gonna get stuff like that in in AEW.
And actually, I would say both him and Warlock could actually do really good in TNA right now.
Yeah.
If they
Oh
were, if they
yeah,
were
for sure.
there, like with the scene that they have there and the heavyweight championship scene, like Moose would have a badass match with both of them. Eddie Edwards would have a badass match with either of them too, and stuff like that. So there's
You
plenty of
got
people that.
Alex Hammerstone now.
Yeah, Hammerstone, yeah, another big fucking meaty
Yeah.
fucking dude. So you can definitely have those guys added to that roster, and it'll work really well for them, for all parties in that instant.
So I'm gonna throw you a curveball right here.
All right.
Now, I mentioned Hulk Hogan. I mentioned Ric Flair earlier. We've been talking about WWE, AEW. Now, we also talked about dream matches. I got a dream match right here, and I want to know what's your take on it. Brooke Hogan versus Charlotte Flair. Is that something you want to see? Is that something where you're like, why hasn't it happened?
Absolutely not.
Why
That's
not?
well,
I'm
because
curious of why it never happened. I'm curious why Hulk Hogan or Brooke, especially with NXT, why hasn't there been a moment where like, hey, come to NXT, we want to train you and all that stuff? Because apparently she's been training when she was in TNA wrestling. Obviously, nothing happened with that. I've clearly she sucks, but I feel like with NXT, it's just like just go there and train. It's like, what are you doing, you know, for this not to happen? And also, when she does interviews, I don't know. I think the last one she did that I know of was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. She wanted to get in the ring, she wanted to train, and she wants to have that match with Charlotte Flair. But it's like you're not doing anything about it, you know.
that's why, and that's why I have no interest in, because even though all the stuff that she did in TNA, it never felt like it was something that she naturally wanted to do. At least that's how it came off. It was more like, okay, I'm here because of my dad. My dad's pretty much having me come in here, especially during the time when they were doing the Hogan Knows Best reality show. It all just seemed to be like just an attempt to try to get her to be a star in general, you know, because they tried the music thing and that failed horribly.
But
Um,
yeah, I
they,
agree.
you
I
know,
agree
they
what
even
you
tried.
said with that.
I think they tried probably even acting, and it was
You got a
nowhere. You know,
squeaky ass chair.
yeah, I know. I'm like trying to like not move because like my legs starting to fall asleep because I've been leaning on my left side, and like
What's
so my
that?
legs. I'm like, okay, let me try to adjust so that way there. But yeah, it's squeaky,
No,
so my bad.
no, it's all good. It's all good. It was like, damn, he
But
just keeps getting louder and louder. Sounds like you have a duck bite right there.
but yeah, no, the thing with her is just that nothing about her has never felt, you know, natural. You could say that, you know, with Charlotte, you could say that, okay, she went in because of her dad, which was really more because of her brother Reed,
Yeah.
when that was his goal. So she had a goal to go into it and do something. And out of the two of them, Charlotte was a natural athlete. She played sports in college and everything like that out there. So she was a natural athlete, and that's probably why she gravitated so easily to it, took to it, and has been, you know, now, you know, who she is now and has the space that she has now. I mean, you look at her right now; she's rehabbing the torn ACL, and she's, you know, probably what, not even 2 months after, you know, the surgery, she was already doing, you know, weighted squats, you know,
Mhm.
and doing all these mobility drills,
And
and
she's
it's like
still
insane.
still in great shape.
And it's still insane how much she's recovering, how fast she's recovering, and the stuff that she's already able to do. When in the past, an ACL injury would have people, you know, out for almost a year.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, they're saying, okay, they might have said 9 months. She could probably come back by SummerSlam. At this rate,
Mhm.
at the rate that she's moving, and the motivation that she has to just get back to it,
Yeah.
you know, and mind you,
But
she's
that's the
and
key.
she
It's rehab.
and she's, you know, not on the young side either, because she's our age. She's in our age range. She's in her late
Yeah.
30s. So for someone to, you
Well,
know,
I'm
be
early 30s. Hold on. I'm early
okay,
30s.
my bad,
My
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 bad.
back my back is like in the 60 right now, but you know, I'm still in the early 30s.
Okay, early 30s. Well, put it this way, she's in that age gap between your age
Yeah.
gap to my age. I'm about to be 40, so it's like, you know, she's
See,
within
if
that.
I was Kevin Hart, I would have been like, damn.
But you know, she has this drive to still just be better because she still has more to prove now, and she's, you know, taking like that. So if they were to have a match to them, I mean, Charlotte washes her in every way, shape, or form.
Right.
You know, if you did a one-on-one match to them, I mean, storyline wise, of course, you know, you could do that because, I mean, they did it with Natty and Charlotte in NXT, and you had Brett and Rick, you know, in their corners for that NXT Women's Championship match.
Mm. Yeah,
And
I forgot about that. The only one
that
I remember was the one they had at Payback.
it was the takeover. It was one of the
Yeah.
takeover
It
shows.
was like, yeah, it was the first time meeting too.
Yeah,
But I guess that's why I want it, because we have a chance to see the female version of Hogan versus Flair. And, you know, it's just like make it happen. But like you said, Charlotte has been putting in that work. She had a goal. The reason she did it for her brother because her brother passed away. It wasn't for
mm-hmm.
her. It wasn't for her dad. It was for her brother. And she was an athlete. Brooke was more of a I'm
It's pretty
only
good.
known. She's a good looking woman,
Yeah,
but it's like she tried the music career, did not work. She sing good, but you know, it's out of
right.
tunes. You know,
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. She did had a great song. You know, it didn't became as a hit that they thought it was going to be because they had Paul Wall, they had Scott Storch. They thought it was going to be like a #1 hit, but it was like it kind of flopped. But the thing was, the rest you did had that one hit song, but the rest of the album was a flop.
yeah,
So I feel like that's what Brooke should have done. She should have just been like a hit maker. Like, oh, I'm just dropping hits. Like, I'm not gonna drop an album.
right.
And and because of that album flop, she kind of gave up on that. So it's not. I feel like Brooke is more of a like. She's a dream chaser. Not once she gets that dream or she gets her foot in that door, it's like, oh, it's not. It's what I thought was going to be, and she kind of like loses interest in it.
Right.
So I feel like that's like same thing with TNA. When she brought into TNA and she had that storyline, she was doing really well. You can't like because you were
Yeah, no, no,
invested in the story.
with Bully and everything like that.
Yeah. Everything, the story with the Bully Ray and all that stuff,
Aces
you
and
know,
eights and everything.
yeah, everything was working out well. And I felt like it got to a point where she lost interest and then she just like kind of gave up on it because they rid her off.
Right.
So, and that's when they brought in Brooke Tessmacher to take her spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of losing entrance, are you losing entrance on Cody Rhodes' title reign?
No, but I can see that people have already started to,
Yeah.
flip on him. But that's kind of expected because with a story like his, the story's interesting in the chase.
Yeah.
It's the chase for the championship that got most people in. And I'll make a comparison. Hangman Page, when he won the AEW World Title, everybody was behind him when he was chasing it that 1st time around.
Because he kept getting screwed.
Yeah, and there was a story there, and that was that. But then once he won it, it's like, okay, they didn't book him they didn't really book him that well as a champion. So that's all of a sudden his title reign became vanilla, and the crowd flipped on him. Cody's still getting reactions at the live events. He's still getting during the TV shows tapings. He's still gets those big reactions. His merch is still selling hot, so I don't think it's fair to say that the crowd is losing interest in him. There are some places that maybe there's some fans that are already there, but that kind of tends to happen. It's like, okay, you won it, and now it's like, okay, now you're overrated. Now you're just being too much on there. I don't think he'll have a Roman Reigns kind of run with the title. He's not going to do a 4-year run. I'd say a good solid year of him as the top guy, and then drops it to whoever would be the next one that they're going to maybe try to give a big push to. I mean, Carmelo made a big improvement, not improvement, a big impression on Friday.
Yeah, he did.
But you're not going to put the title on him yet. You're gonna let Carmelo cook a little bit more before
he's going to be the Ricochet for the next year or two, and then after that, it's like, are you gonna be disappointed or are you gonna just keep working on the grind?
Right. So there's still more to do with Melo. So maybe in a year they put it back on Randy. Because now that they're both on the same roster officially, with after the draft, there's a story right there, legacy. There, how Randy took him under his wing and everything there that you can do with Cody and Randy, and then maybe next year at WrestleMania or right before that, barring any injuries, of course, then Randy takes the belt off Cody, and Cody has his year run, and now he's chasing again after Randy, which we know Randy, as a heel champion, will be fucking great because he's gonna fucking just fuck with Cody so bad, especially as much more relaxed he is now on camera too. Randy, like you could tell that he's much more chill
because the company is not on his shoulder no more.
Exactly. So he's just letting him be fun, so he can have a fun run as a heel champion while Cody chases him. But no, I mean, as long right now WWE, they're printing money, and as long as that money printer is working, doesn't matter how some IWC fans or anything like that react to Cody there, where they start saying like, "Oh, I'm over him. He's overrated. I'm already done with this championship."
We said the same thing with Roman. We said the same thing for John Cena. We said the same thing with Triple H and all that. As long as there's a good story, I think that's what the issue is right now. Because he's gonna have his match with AJ Styles, and I feel like that's what's the issue. There's not so much of a build up to it where it's not. That's why we're not fully invested. It's just like here's a match kind of thrown together, even though there was a number one contendership match for it. But yeah, I think that was just more. I guess we're so used to. We already knew we weren't going to get the rematch, but I think that's where we're so used to of getting a rematch right at the next pay per view. And then with Cody, it was like, oh, the story's literally finished.
Yeah.
The chapter's done. It's a new
book.
The
next?
Yeah.
What's the next one going to be like? And I think with that, you again looking at SummerSlam, are they going to do him against Rock? They tease that, Is
Right.
Roman going to be back by then that they can go ahead and have their rematch at SummerSlam? Or what's going to be the Bloodline storyline by that point? Because, as it's developing right now with Tamatanga, Jacob Fatu probably popping up next Saturday at Backlash. So, there's going to be that, and, the possible of a Bloodline Civil War. And,
Yeah.
where be that. Because right now with Roman, yeah, you can have him come back and probably handle some of that stuff there. But honestly, Roman's going to be a face soon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He had this
He's
great heel
going
run.
to.
He had this great heel run, but now he's going to be a face again, and it's not going to be a forced face run like how it was before with him. He's going to be more natural about it, and people are going to be really behind him. So then now does he team with Cody, or does
And
Cody
his
go?
mic skills have improved.
Yeah. Or does Cody go heel because now he's like, oh well, people are turning on me. Well, now I'm going to be a heel champion. So that can also happen, halfway throughout the year.
Cody could be the new Hollywood Hulk Hogan in a few years too.
Yeah. And Cody's persona now is like he's almost like a politician type character, because he's always in the suit, shaking hands, kissing babies, everything like that on there.
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ali, how Ali is doing right now, and be a heel. Ali's a heel basically as that character.
Right.
Cody has actually said does aspire to actually run for office after wrestling. So it's like, okay, that's you can kind of see those seeds in there and that kind of character there that you can have there to be this, evil corporate, champion.
Right.
If they were to launch, into another corporate storyline, kind of like that.
Do you think Cody Rhodes will start his own legacy like Randy Orton did?
It would be cool. It would be cool.
Who will you
like
see
that's
that
the
happening?
Who do you put? Yeah, who do you put in that from the upcoming guys, either from NXT or
Braun Breaker.
Braun? I don't know if he can fit into that mold though.
Well, I'm not saying right now, but in the future, I could see him be part of it.
Because I think
He could be the muscle for, Cody. Maybe instead of legacy, maybe evolution.
Evolution. Yeah, if they were like maybe redoing Evolution.
Yeah. Braun Breaker could be the Batista.
In that instance, I'd put Mello, Trick, and Braun.
Ooh, okay.
If we were to book a 2024-2025 version of Evolution with Cody being in the Triple H role or the Ric Flair role, as the senior,
I would say Triple H.
As a senior member of the group, and then have those three as the upcomers, because that's basically who you can have as your, if we're to again make comparisons to the pillars of WWE's future, I would say it's Trick, Mello, Braun, and Ilya.
Ooh.
And Ilya.
Interesting.
Those would be the four that I could say are going to be probably main eventers within the next 3 years.
See, for me, I would say, because I'm thinking like future, like 2 or 3 years from now, I would say, because like we can't say that Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes are going to be WWE champion within the next 2 or 3 years. We will want that, but let's be realistic. It's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen. Okay? I feel like they should get that taste where it's like, oh, I became WWE champion. If the story is there, then that's when they should do it. But realistic, it's like if Johnny Gargano hasn't even had his moment yet, I feel like why do it for Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, right? Because I feel like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano should be WWE champion before Trick Williams and Carmelo. But like if we're talking about evolution in the future, Cody Rhodes, that's the Triple H. Have Dustin Rhodes or The Rock be Ric Flair.
Right.
And then I agree with you on Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. I'll agree with you on that. And then try to throw in Ava. What's her name? Ava, The Rock's daughter.
Oh yeah, Ava.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If not have The Rock as played the Ric Flair role and have Dustin, then I would say have Ava be part of the group, because then you have later on, The Rock being involved, be like, oh no, hell no, you're not, my daughter ain't joining your group.
Right.
That's a story right there. Or eventually saying like, oh, you know what? I want her to join because you made her women's champion.
Mhm.
So maybe this group is a good idea. So now I want to join forces. Make sure you guys succeed now. Make
Right.
sure you guys don't break up. Nobody screws with you, messes with you, and we could have a heel, because eventually we're gonna have a face Rock again.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
at least that way, once that happened, that's his way of being a heel once again.
Yeah. I mean, that's inevitable for Rock. Is just too popular, too well known to not, be cheered. I mean, granted, this heel run that he just had was fucking great because
Dude, it was a movie.
that was insane. Like
I was there live.
his whole run as heel Hollywood Rock, now corporate Rock, whatever you want to call this, the final boss. That run was so entertaining and so much fun to watch, and like legit had me like, oh shit, dude, he like because we're used to him coming in and just phoning it in, saying the same, corny lines and the same, da da da, you know, promo. That this
Right.
time, like, nah, he started busting out some stuff that we had not seen from him in a long time, and
That
he was
we
just
only see him
from
say
before.
in action
Yeah,
movies.
and we never seen him, and we never even seen him say before. So I was like, dude, this version of Rock that we just got that just wrapped up is like probably one of my favorite ones out of all his versions that we've had, throughout his entire career. Because this was fucking entertaining as hell. This was great to watch.
It was. I just like bringing back The Rock, even though there was reasons why he came back, but
Mhm.
it was just like the timing of it worked out. Um, Depending how you view it. But it was just like, for me, the fact that I was able to go to WrestleMania and then like be able to see The Rock, like I still like, bro, I've been talking about it like nonstop. Where it's like, how did this happen? Like,
Yeah,
like how did I get here? And also, how am I seeing The Rock wrestling? Like,
yeah.
that's just crazy to me, man. And then, WrestleMania night 2, he's standing in the same ring with The Undertaker. Like, my first ever Undertaker match was him against The Rock at the King of the Ring. And it's just like, I'm glad that I had my predictions that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to show up. But the fact that there was The Undertaker, dude, I just went like crazy. Like that, those 2 nights alone, I checked out my bucket list. Like everything. I was like, I checked out everything. It was just like, oh my gosh, it was just crazy. And it was just like, that's what this is what bothers me about like wrestling does not make like wrestling in the ring doesn't like that's how you know you're the best, because it's like how I felt leading up to the show when the bell rang for both main events, like it made me feel like this is storytelling. This is what we mean about storytelling.
Mhm.
It's like they're not just telling a story before the match, leading up to the match. It's like they're telling the story in the match as well, instead of just doing spots and moving,
Oh
because
yeah,
it's like you're letting me feel emotions, you know? So it's not like a speed racing cars where it's just driving around. It's like trying to get their laps in. It's just like
right.
you got to tell a story in the ring, and that's how you remember everything,
Oh yeah,
you know? Like Cody Rhodes, I mean, like Daniel Bryan, Brian Danielson, and Will Ospreay. It was a great wrestling match, but the only thing I remember was he dropped Brian Danielson on his head and dislocated
yeah.
his shoulder.
With the Tiger 91 driver.
Yeah, it's like that's the only thing I remember. But I remember how I felt when I watched Roman versus Cody and in the tag team main event. Like I remember how I felt. I felt everything. I felt
Right.
emotional, goosebumps, scared, happy. I cried a little bit, It was just like, I got sexual a little bit.
Hey now.
Hey, I got a little warm, you feel me? So,
Well, I mean, it was cold there, so I'm pretty sure you needed the warmth.
oh my gosh, it was freezing cold. Man. But speaking of, hot stuff, Jose, Well, appreciate for being on the show, but wanted to let everybody know, hit that like and subscribe. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Yeah, all the links in the bio and hit that follow if you're listening to us on Spotify. But Jose, before we go, I wanted to ask you, do you have any guilty pleasure matches? Like, and I don't mean anything like that gets you, heated up. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't mean like that, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo.
I don't mean the one that pinches the tent. I mean like the ones that you're kind of embarrassed, like to admit that you actually enjoyed this match, something that that makes people be like, bro, really? You like that match? You watch that in your spare time? Like let me give you an example. Like for me, I like The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, No Way Out. A lot of people hate it. People think that's the worst match between, obviously comparing it to WrestleMania 18, which is, I get it, but it's like I enjoyed it myself, Triple H versus Scott Steiner at the Royal Rumble,
Oh
people.
my god, that one's horrible. Yeah, that's a good
But
example.
yeah, that's a horrible one. But for me, I enjoy it. Like I enjoy that match. I still go back and watch it. Do you have anything like that?
Nothing. I mean, that comes to the top of the head real quick because I never really fought on that.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think like what were some of the more cornier matches that would fall
I
under
think
that
that's
category?
the right word to use, corny. Like, what's a
Because
corny match that
because
you
that
enjoy?
because that Steiner Triple H one was horrible. Um,
It could have been worse. I could have said the one that happened in No Way Out.
I would say, oh man, let's see again. Trying to think off the top of my head real quick.
I feel
Uh,
like this would have been the perfect time to tell people about the hit that like and subscribe.
right.
Everybody, hit that like and subscribe, everybody. Hit that follow button. Also,
Because I
go
would
check out Pro
say
Wrestling Tees.
the CM Punk, Jericho alcohol on what was it? It was alcohol on a pole match, the bottle on a pole. It
No
was when they
way.
had
That really happened. I don't remember that happening.
either I'm having what do you call it? It's the
That never happened, dude. You're
when they were having that whole story. Didn't they have a bottle like on a pole match or something like that?
not in WWE.
Okay, then never mind. Then I because I remember during that storyline there was somebody that broke a bottle of alcohol over someone's head.
Yeah, sure, but it wasn't a match.
It wasn't a match. Okay, it was just a
No.
second. It was just like a promo.
Yeah. It was just like
Oh,
a
okay.
yeah. Chris Jericho. That's when Chris Jericho had a bottle of whiskey and it broke like mid because it was like
Yeah, because it
sugar
was like mid
glass.
thing, like he was like swinging it and then like shattered mid swing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it was that. No, so that's that
No.
one thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a match.
Okay, so let me try to think of another cringe match.
It doesn't have to be like bad. Just something that's like, for example, like Maven versus Goldust. It wasn't a bad match, but that's not something like people would admit they enjoy.
Right. No. Again, I've never had this question asked before, so for me, it's different to think. Okay, a lot of times when you ask me something, I can say it off the top of my head because I'm like, oh yeah, there's this match or that
Yeah,
match.
because it's easy to say. It's easy
It,
to
it's
say
easy
what's your favorite match. It's easy to
to
say
think
that.
on that note, but hmm, I would actually say, and I can't remember exactly when that match happened, but it was a Taz versus Lawler match, and this is when they were just
SummerSlam?
really, yeah. This is what, oh yeah, because the freaking candy,
Yeah,
another thing,
SummerSlam.
the fucking candy, the SummerSlam match. That one because I was such a huge ECW Taz fan that
Mm.
when we got that when he came to WWE, it was just so watered down and such a shell of what that was. That by the end after that, that's when he went into commentary. Almost after that program.
Now, was that? I thought that was because of a neck injury, or was that just because it was like,
No, there was injury. There was like he when he got to WWE. Now years later, I think it came to light that yeah, he was dealing with some bad injuries that basically were
Well, yeah, coming from ECW, no
yeah
insurance,
that it finally caught up to him and he just little by little just kind of bowed out to it.
and that's where the whole grind starts. Because in ECW, you're working once a week, maybe twice a week, but you are doing dangerous stunts, and then now
Mhm.
but you go home
Yeah,
after that.
and
And in WWE, you got to travel to airport, to arenas, to hotels. You're
Yeah.
getting hurt as well. So you're people keep thinking it's like, well, how are people getting hurt in WWE if they're barely doing stuff? It's like because you're not really fully resting because you got to go to the next town.
Yeah. So that I was put in that kind of category of matches then for that, because again, for me, it was such a letdown of what Taz was in ring in WWF, WWE, because of that. And even now, when like they did that whole thing in AEW with Jericho pushing him and like how he just like dropped, there's like, oh, dude, like this dude would have 1997 Taz would have just picked up, gotten up, and freaking dropped Jericho on his fucking neck.
Right.
You know, it's like, and like, and the fact that they did nothing to it, and then Hook just stood there and like, oh, you touched my dad, you pushed my dad. It's like, dude,
Dude.
anyone who has a good relationship with their dad, and those are dead. The moment you put your hands on someone's dad, it's go time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be messy.
yeah, no, I get it. No, it's just like, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Taz. Yeah, like that made the the match I enjoyed. I did enjoy the match. Chris Jericho and Hook. It was a great match. Chris Jericho did not need to win, but whatever.
Right.
If he was gonna win, I feel like it should have been a different title from Hook. Like, a different title, because him winning that title back doesn't mean anything, because it's like I already hold that title twice already. Um, but yeah, when Chris Jericho pushed Taz and Hook just went and pushed Chris Jericho to the corner and said, I'm gonna show you what I'm made of, and tell him to get out of the ring. It was just like, I want you to lose now.
Yeah. It's
I,
like
I want
it didn't do him any favors. It didn't do
it
him any
didn't.
favors.
It did not. It just made him look bad. I was just like, I want you to lose now, because if that was me, I would have, like, there would be no match, because I would have hurt Chris Jericho that night, you know? So I don't know. And what bothers me is about Taz is, why do they act like Taz can't choke a dude out?
So yeah,
Like, that's his gimmick, is to choke people out.
exactly.
His catchphrase was, you didn't beat me, I let you survive.
Yeah.
So I Taz, I love Taz. I don't, like, again, AEW is one of those places where it's like, I can't really hate on the wrestlers, because it's like they're going to places where I can still enjoy their work, and Taz is one of them. But it's just
Right.
like, bro, like, go back to TNA, go back to WWE. It's like you got to go back. AEW is not it for him, and there's just too many commentators
Yeah.
on that show.
I mean, he just might too now that, what do you call it? Hook has said he's going to explore free agency once his contract uh, runs out with AEW. So odds are he might go to WWE now, or he might go to TNA or MLW.
Yeah. I feel
Eh,
like, no, not MLW. I feel like he's better than that. No offense to MLW.
right.
Um, I feel like Hook going to TNA, and I'm not saying, like, when I tell people like they should go to TNA, I'm not saying like be there for 3 years. It's like, go improve your work there in TNA. I feel like if you go to TNA, I feel like they will humble you, make you be humble.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And then you go to NXT. I don't think you should go to WWE or NXT right away. I feel like if you go from the or AEW, you should go to TNA, and then to TNA, go to WWE, or NXT and WWE and stuff like that. I feel like there should be levels to this. And then with WWE working with TNA, I feel like that's what the directions that they should be doing. Where it's like, go to TNA and see if you're a draw, because the last pay-per-view, apparently they only drew 500
Yeah.
for their pay-per-view. And that's not good.
Right. Right. Right.
That's not good for a pay-per-view. But I said this before, Rebellion is their big four pay-per-view for TNA, and I disagreed. I was like, I never ordered that pay-per-view, because in my mind, that's not the big four.
Right.
It's not. I don't know what made them say that it is. It's like of all these pay-per-views, that's the one that you're going with.
Yeah.
Why? Like you still have Victory Road. Victory Road was their first ever pay-per-view.
Right.
Beside Slammiversary, you know, it's just like somebody asked me because there was like somebody posted a post about like rank the TNA, like they did it for AEW, WWE, and TNA, but the person sent me the TNA one
Right.
about rank the big four, and I was like, well, Slammiversary should be treated like their WrestleMania, but it's not. Bound for Glory should be treated like Starrcade. It's a big pay-per-view, but Slammiversary, if we were gonna sell out arenas,
Right.
I mean, not stadiums, it should be Slammiversary, and then Bound for Glory should be like baseball fields,
Right.
and then Hard to Kill, and Rebellion. Like I said, I don't consider that as a like big four. Hard to Kill
Right.
should be arenas, and they should Victory Road or Destination X
Hmm.
should be. It doesn't have to be all X Division matches. Just Destination X, dude. It's a cool name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Destination X
You know,
sounds so cool.
exactly.
It should be like their big four, Victory Road. The only reason why Victory Road is getting buried because of the Jeff Hardy match.
Right.
How many bad WrestleMania matches, main event matches, took place at WrestleMania?
Right. A
You know,
lot. But that
yeah. It's like canceling the WrestleMania 11 with Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow.
oh
It's
my
like,
god.
oh my gosh, that was a horrible match. We got to cancel WrestleMania because of
Right.
that one. It's like, come on. No,
Like
you
that match
just make
kills
sure it's stopped.
like that match kills WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's like, why did they stop WrestleMania? Oh, because of that one bad match.
Yeah.
Like, no, Victory Road, in my opinion, Victory Road is the big four. They just don't want to treat it that way. So, all right. Any last thing you want to say before we head
Sorry.
out?
So I just kind of got bit by something, so I'm like
Oh my
freaking
gosh. Jose's got to turn into Spider-Man on this episode.
I wish, right?
episode 175. Jose
Go
turns
Web
into
go.
Spider-Man.
Go Web go.
You saw it here first. Any
No,
last thing
but
you want to say? Anything you want to get out of your chest? Any last comments you want to say about 2K? Anything you want to say about WWE? Any predictions you want to say for Backlash?
Backlash. What's the card looking like again? Well, you
Got-
have, I think for sure, new tag team champions, women's tag team champions.
Oh yeah.
You know, right now the way that Jade and
Bianca?
Trinity, I think I still say Trinity, but Naomi and Bianca, like how they've kind of teamed up and have really just gelled well together.
Mm.
That is going to be the next women's tag team champions.
Wait, who'd you say?
Because it's Naomi, Jade, and Bianca.
Oh, yeah, but it's gonna be Bianca and Jade
And Jade
facing
being Kabuki
damage
Warriors.
control. Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought they were still considered damage control.
One or the other. Yeah, they
Yeah.
go by both names. But you know, they're gonna win those tag titles from them. So definitely new tag team champions.
We
Then
we
you
have we got the Bloodline versus RKO.
Raider RKO. Bloodline's gonna win that one because I'm telling you, Jacob Fatsu's gonna pop up there and join them.
Ooh. I feel RK Bro should win. RK Bro should win, but like, and after the match, have the Bloodline like standing tall.
Or that can
You
work
know,
too.
like, because at least that way it continues the feud. Because if the Bloodline wins, it's like, where do you guys go from here? You know, it's like you
Okay.
guys are gonna have another rematch, but it'll mean more for the Bloodline to be like, oh hell no, we got to get our win back. You know, we got to be taken serious. Yeah, we were the last man standing, but we gotta get our win back. So it continues the feud till I guess King and Queens. You know, I don't even know what's going on with that. Is that going to be like an all night tournament thing? You know, we also got Clash of the Castle.
I think they're having qualifying matches, so it'll probably be the semifinals and finals at the event in Riyadh. Okay, I just pulled up the card. So, yeah, Bloodline versus RKO. Again, I'm thinking Bloodline's going to win. Jacob Patu shows up in Rex's house with them too. We already said Bianca and Jade. Bianca and Jade win the women's tag titles. You got the triple threat match: Bailey, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton. As much as I want to see Tiffany win it, it would be bad to have Bailey win and have her win at WrestleMania, and then a month later drop that title.
So this is
I think
this is what I
Bayley-
have an issue with this match. I feel like it should have been 1-on-1 with Naomi or Tiffany, and then the King and Queens have face like one or the other, and then at the next pay-per-view make it a triple threat match. Because at least
Right.
that has like, oh, I beat you 1-on-1, I beat you 1-on-1, and now facing both of them in a triple threat. Because I feel like this is a perfect match. I agree with you. It's too soon for Bailey to drop the title. And also, Io Sky didn't even get her rematch.
Right. So that needs to happen.
Yeah, but like I feel like this triple threat match would be perfect for Tiffany to win. And again, we go Tiffany. This is why I miss Tiffany. Would be a great moment for Tiffany to win, but she could drop the belt against Bailey the
Yeah.
next week on SmackDown or the next pay-per-view. That's what I miss. It's just like you're building something, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I want Bailey to win because we got to get a rematch with Io Sky because that was a
And
great
if
match in my book.
yeah, all right, and if anything, let's say Tiffany loses, maybe she doesn't take the pin. Naomi maybe takes the pinning loss, right?
Right.
So now you can have Tiffany. I would actually, if I were to book it, I would have her win Queen of the Ring and Money in the Bank.
Who, Tiffany?
Right. I would have her win both because the Queen of the Ring gimmick fits perfect with her gimmick.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you get anything from that? Did they announce that? Like, is it going to be like a number one? Like, oh, you're going to be the next in line for SummerSlam?
so I don't know. So that's how King of the Ring was back in the 90s
Yeah.
for a while. Like the winner of the King of the Ring would be, since it was right before SummerSlam, would get a championship match at SummerSlam. They had for a while they made that the stipulation to it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
then
there
they
was a
kind
pay-per-view. I believe there was a pay-per-view. Well, in the 90s, it was the next pay-per-view, SummerSlam. But I think
right.
once in the 2000, it was the pay-per-view before that. So it was kind of like the Royal Rumble. It was like, oh, Royal
Yeah,
Rumble, and then there's another pay-per-view, and then
and then
SummerSlam.
yeah, so that's where it became a what do you call it? I think there. I don't know if they want to try to bring that back yet, but I would have her, like I said, win both those events, and then she can have that cash in at the, you know, in her back pocket, and Bailey can have a good run as champion, and then eventually have Tiffany cash it in on her.
Yeah.
Let's
That
see.
that
Then
I
we
feel
got
like that I feel like that's a good call. That's a good call. Have Tiffany win the tournament or Money in the Bank. I don't know about both because I feel like what's her name? Liv Morgan should win the briefcase, the Money in the Bank briefcase again. But with
yeah,
Liv Morgan, what I will do with Liv Morgan is she's gonna announce it like, oh, because I've been the runner up for the Royal Rumble match. I've been the runner up for Elimination Chamber, well, this year.
yeah,
Just in case I'm the runner up and I don't win again, that's fine. I have this briefcase that's gonna give me a title shot at WrestleMania. That's what I
right,
would do with Liv Morgan. Be the
yeah,
first one, and she's gonna lose. I'll still have her lose. Like, oh, I don't care if I lost. I'm still miss Money in the Bank, you know.
right,
So whoever you choose to win at to face at WrestleMania, cool. I'm gonna go after the other title because I got the briefcase right here, and that's what I would do. Have her be the first one to cash in at WrestleMania as a like in a for a challenge, basically. I don't know the right words to say. Kind of like what RVD did. It's like,
right.
well, you know,
Call the shot.
yeah, it's making it official. We're gonna have an official match at WrestleMania. I'm cashing in my money in the briefcase to face you at this pay-per-view.
That would be cool. That would
Yeah.
be a really cool, innovative way to do it for
Yeah.
that event, especially for WrestleMania.
Yeah, why
Uh,
would you not want to do that? I feel like if you're not gonna cash in like a kind of like what Damian Priest or what normal people do have done, it's like if you're gonna use it to be like, oh, I'm gonna use it to have a one-on-one match, why would you not use it at WrestleMania?
yeah,
You know? So I don't know. It's just weird. Like Austin Theories, he could have used, he used it on
He should not
Seth
have won it.
Rollins.
Yeah,
He
he should
should
not
not
have
have
won
never won it. That is
it
true.
that year. That was such a
That was
waste.
not his year. That was not his year. Last year, when he defeated John Cena, that should have been his year to
Or
win
if
the Money
anything,
in the Brave.
because I know right now him and Grayson Waller are having their run with the tag team titles, which is cool. And then eventually maybe they lose them, they split up and like that. If anything, next year when they're really getting ready to probably give him another big push, that's when they should have him actually win Money in the Bank, and then cash in on whichever one he wants to. Because now that we have the World Championship and the WWE Championship again, it's like, okay, now you have the options to do one or the other and still have a championship run.
Right.
Speaking of which, though, so then we got Damian Priest against Jay
Mhm.
Priest. Yeah, that's an easy one there. I mean, everyone loves Jay Uso, but he's not winning that title right now.
No. The only thing I'm hoping is that Jay Uso gets this redemption of because I don't know if you saw his interview about his match with Jay Uso. The reason why it turned out the way that it did is because they cut their time.
Yeah,
So I really hope that this match gives him that opportunity to shine because he proved it with Gunther, you know.
oh yeah,
So it's like I really hope this is that match where it's uh like give him this 20-minute match, man.
yeah.
Damian Priest could go, Jay Uso could go. Let us have this match.
Right. Let him have a good moment like that. And then we got Cody versus AJ, which Cody, AJ's not taking the title from him.
Do you think can you besides the whole it's obvious that Cody Rhodes is not gonna lose? But do you think this would be a good moment for AJ Styles to win just because he just had a heel turn?
I mean, do I want to see another AJ Styles championship run? Absolutely.
Because we had him
But
as a heel before,
his
but this is a different kind of heel. This is
but
like the
his
TNA heel.
but his character right now just doesn't feel like it's a world championship kind of character. He had the thing with LA Knight, which was fine. It kind of felt a little bit forced. But they had that feud, and it was cool, good match.
Yeah.
Some of the outside of the ring stuff was actually the more entertaining parts from it, like when they got into it at the pressers for WrestleMania, the whole
Yeah,
house thing.
they were trying to build up this match because to me it was
Yeah,
like it was a dream match for me because I was getting two TNA guys, former TNA guys wrestling together at WrestleMania. So it was like
exactly.
that was like for me that's the way I was looking at it. But they did had a good storyline leading up to it. But in the end of the day, it was kind of one of those matches where it was like, how did we get here again? And it was like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, because LA Knight screwed AJ to win the title at the Royal Rumble. But it was just like, yeah, but LA Knight lost too, fool.
yeah. So then now you have that. So it's like, okay, is AJ's character right now a character that is a world heavyweight championship kind of character? Because if you put on him right now, I mean, okay, where does it go?
Yeah. I
Does it
think
go just with him and Cody back and forth, or anything like that on there? Um, so definitely would love to see AJ win the title one more time, but I don't think it's gonna happen at this show.
no,
Not
it's not
not
gonna happen in Backlash. I was just saying, like, besides, yeah, you can't have Cody Rhodes drop the belt after what he just accomplished. But like, I was just more getting like an idea. Like, do you think this would be a good call if they say, hey, you know what, maybe we should give AJ Styles to win this title, right here, right now at Backlash. I feel like yes and no, but if it was more of I feel like right now a heel AJ having a faction would be a great idea, but it's like obviously I don't want the Good Brothers. You know,
that too.
it
That kind of flopped
it
a
did.
lot.
It didn't do anything for them.
Like
It did
when
at 2016. It worked fine then, but then when they got back together, it was like, it wasn't the same.
it's because you can't tell who's what. Because Michin Miyam is a face basically, even
Mhm.
though she's part of the crew with them. She's a face. You have the Good Brothers who, up until they showed up at NXT, weren't really doing anything, and that's again part of their deal. Again, which
Yeah.
is kind of makes it funny with what Triple H said, like if you're not in it for the grand. The Good Brothers have a deal where it's in their contract. It's known that their contract is structured that way, that they only show up whenever they're needed, and
Yeah.
they answer whenever they're called. So they don't have to be out on the road with the other guys, grinding it out, stuff like that. So, how do you use them unless they're going to really make a stable storyline for them, where the whole crew goes heel? They start running, roughshod on people, especially with like the whole thing with the bloodline, having the bloodline support. Like, okay, they can creep up and like, all right, now we're going to take over. Then you can say, all right, cool. AJ gets the title then, so that way you can cement them as the top stable on
Yeah.
SmackDown.
And that was the one thing we kind of missed out on is the Good Brothers and AJ Styles versus the Bloodline.
Right.
We kind of missed out. I mean, we got that, years ago, but it was again the roles were reversed.
Right.
AJ and the club were the heels, and then Roman and the Usos were the faces. So it's like we had the opportunity to get the other way around, but they dropped the ball on that. I mean, I don't want to say they dropped the ball. It was just there was just no window for it.
Right.
When I think Roman was supposed to face AJ was at SummerSlam last year. Um, no, was it last year? I don't know if it was last year or the year before that, but we were supposed to get Roman and AJ at SummerSlam, and it just never happened.
Right.
So, but you said Cody Rhodes is going for the win, retaining his WWE Championship. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
this, Backlash France. I don't know why they need to throw France in there, but it is, it's weird. But honestly, there's nothing special about this card.
Yeah.
Besides, it's a good card. It's a good
It's a strong.
card. It's a strong card, but it's just nothing special. And plus, there's so many pay-per-views lead after this. And I feel like that's the issue with Cody Rhodes, because it's like, well, who is he gonna face at King and Queen's pay-per-view? Who is he gonna face at the Clash of the Castle? Who's gonna face at Money in the Bank? SummerSlam, it's like there's rumors that he's gonna face The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton, you know. So that was the rumor, and it's just like, who is he gonna face till that, you know?
Right.
And I feel like I think Cody Rhodes should get a long title reign. I feel like if he's gonna drop the title, I feel like next year's WrestleMania will make sense. But who is he going to face? I feel next year's WrestleMania should be Randy Orton. Are we going to get that? Are we going to wait that long? I feel like we shouldn't have to. I mean, I'm always okay getting rematches at WrestleMania as long as there's a good story, and also, don't just say, hey, like Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, you're next. Let's not do that for WrestleMania.
Right.
Oh, do what you did for Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre already had multiple chances to face Seth freaking Rollins. He's put in the Elimination Chamber. He won the Elimination Chamber, and now he's going on to WrestleMania. As long as we get something like that, um,
Right.
but I don't think we're gonna get Roman Reigns versus Cody 3. I just don't see that happening. I feel like it will happen, but I think it's gonna happen 2 or 3 years from now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It won't be anytime soon.
No, it's gonna be like The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like what's gonna happen. Well, all right, Jose, appreciate your time, man.
Always.
Definitely gonna have you on the show sooner than later. Trying to have more
All right.
guests on the show. All right, well, Jose, thank you. Any last things you want to say?
No, man. Happy to be back on here. Happy to talk to you. Look forward for the next one.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's gonna be well, we'll talk about that
Yeah.
off air.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're definitely gonna be on the show sooner than later. I'm not gonna have you're more flexible on your schedule. So I'm trying to take advantage of that. So
There you
all
go.
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for this episode. I'm Ian, and that's my special guest, Jose. Ever was earlier on the show earlier, but he had to do some things. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for this episode. And we are, I feel like I butchered everything. I'm like, I added so much extra words where I'm just like, because I'm so used to saying ever take it home. and then Ever would take it home. I'm so
Yeah.
used to that part. So it's like, all right, we okay, this is it. Bye. We're out. Doo doo doo.